Hello and welcome back to another Pick'em video. Now, as you've seen before, we've had legends like Forsaken and Vanity, and unfortunately everyone else was busy, so now I'm going to have to go through hell and allow Mitchman to do my Pick'ems, which honestly, Mitch, I'm genuinely not looking forward to because I think this is going to hurt my brain.
Well, bonjour, bonjour. We're going to do it again, are we? I'm excited to run this one back, baby. The French train is coming into the station.
Oh, it went so well last time.
Listen. You can't let your past failures keep you away from your future success. And that's the code I live by.
Who said it?
Scream.
Oh, okay, yeah, cool. All right, well, moving on. We're just going to get straight into this one. Obviously, the format is a little bit different because of Vitality not competing for obvious reasons. There's only going to be this sort of, like, single elim for the first stage, which it happens later on, I guess, in the prior one or in the other leagues where they kind of have an earlier thing. But I'm dreading going down here, so let's start off at the top. I'm going to let you assume that the fifth that we're assuming is playing for Heretics is playing for Heretics, and that might make your decisions a little bit easier.
Okay. So, right. I'm allowed to make assumptions of who the fifth player of Heretics is. In that case, I guess it's not the same as what we almost closed the season out with. It was one of the last games, Heretics versus Koi. And, I mean, you know, you're talking about the end of the season there. The start of the season for Koi was amazing. Let's not forget they beat Navi. Right now, I know there's a lot of teams doing that recently, but they did. They look fantastic. If they can get to that form,
They beat Navi and then they finished.
Enough of the negativity, man. I'm trying to connect the stars here, man. On one side, week one they beat Navi. They play unreal. This is also week one, so you know maybe they hit that performance again. That's about the only reason I could find to root for Koi. So because of that, I've picked Heretics to go on through. I think they just look better right now. And what was it? Koi.
So wait, you made an argument for why Koi were better, while then going into telling me that you're picking Heretics.
Exactly, because you know there's a couple other things. I mean, Koi, what they started it out well. Like I say, I think the only other map they won from that point forward was against KC, in which they lost. Yeah, it really wasn't a good season for them. I think they just weren't able to catch any steam. I don't see the positives behind it, you know. And you have the Heretics game obviously more recently, but if this is a squad,
but that was the two. Player, that was literally it. They beat Navi week one, and then they beat Heretics,
and that's it.
They lost to KC. They lost to everyone else.
In that, it's a little small. Did they win a map other than that one against KC in their losses? They were all 2-0.
No, they took a map off Liquid. They took a map off
Liquid, the last one.
BBL, and then they got 2-0'd by Vitality Giants for obviously Fnatic. I don't think that one needed to be said.
Yeah. It was 3 weeks. That's what it was. I had jotted down about it without winning a map. They went on a dry streak. And then the Liquid game at the end, I'm really not sure what form Liquid are in. Any given day, it seems to change. And the season matches as well. There's a whole lot that goes into that. So I think ultimately, I find it hard to see this from an angle where Koi are going to come out a million times better. You don't know what's going on behind the scenes there. Heretics in the same camp, but they're changing a player. And if it is a phenomenal player, it's
Benji. Benji is the one that everyone's assuming. That's the leak from everybody, but yeah.
It's a little fishy, you know? If they've got a fishy fifth of some kind, I think the reality is this is a squad
but they will lose Weber.
Superstar
Weber. It will be gone.
You know what, Tom? It's tough for you, I imagine, losing Weber, but you've got another British player potentially in there as well. So it balances it out, and I think they have the perfect ratio of British players to absolutely anyone else.
Right. So you're about to upset a fan base here, so I'm excited for this one. BBL, Carmine Corp, two of the most clouted orgs in the entirety of the VCT. Huge fan bases. You've been known to lean towards the French side, but I know you enjoyed your time in Turkey, so I'm curious which way this is heading.
Well, see, it's only going to go one of two ways. This whole season,
it is that's how a pick'em with two teams works. That is true.
Throwing out the knowledge. Like KC, the games they lost them, man. Like they lost them hard. The games they won, they barely won. It was OTs or third map where it went the distance. I don't know. I think for me, Carmine Corp are in a position that I want to get behind. I really, really do.
Okay.
At the same time, again, it's similar to Koi. Like I look at their season, I don't think that there's a lot of promise there. Are they going to turn around and look a million times better coming into this? I don't see the reason for that, for this sudden change in performance. On the other
Mm.
side, BBL, Kushner's top of the majority of stats, anything that matters at least. I don't know about his cast, but if you look in ACS, he's third, kills per round, fourth, sixth for first deaths, hey, it's one thing, but fourth for first kills. So
Yeah,
balances it out.
it's swings and
You get,
roundabouts, you know?
you give it and you take it. The reality is, him, Brave as well, was just looking unreal the whole season. I think they have all the pieces there, and putting them together against a team like KC, it is definitely their best chance. I got to go with BBL in that matchup. And again, I want to root for KC. I really do. I want to be, going down the same road that I was in lock-in.
So they're out.
But I can't. I can't do it. I can't root for them, man. I can't.
So
this
you're
time,
not picking Scream in an LCQ.
It's a bridge too far, man. It's a bridge too far.
But
After what we
Scream
saw-
always does well in LCQ.
Listen, there's a first time for
You're going
everything.
against history.
It's fine by me, Got to break history to make the future. Scream said that.
I don't think that's. I don't think that makes any sense, but for sure.
It makes more sense in French, I bet.
Yeah. Let's go with that. Let's move swiftly on from whatever's just been said. Navi versus Heretics. Honestly, so far I'm not mad. I thought that this team was going all the way, so I'm so far I'm quite content with what I've witnessed here today. Navi Heretics?
So, Navi Heretics. Right. This is where I had a really interesting little dive, because I was looking at Navi and I realized that, my first thought was like, oh man, they lost a lot of games. You don't ever see these guys lose that many games. It's a big slump. At the same time, right? Let's give them credit. Edward Gaming, for example, when that happened, I thought this is like a red flag. This is a major drawback. But I think Edward did enough to legitimize themselves on the international stage. So you
It was
can look
close
at that.
as well. It was close.
Really close. I think that you can look back on that as Angel, as anyone on that squad, and say, we do that again, we can win. We can win it. It was a good game of Valorant, and it was a good team we lost to. All good. We move on. What was interesting though is that from what I saw and from what I remember, certainly is now the biggest loss streak that Angel has ever had. We're talking about tier 1 games. Well, I can specify it even
three?
better. BO3s. BO3s, 3 BO3s in a row in Angel's career. There was a period where Navi/FPX at different times, but they had subs, they had visa issues. And
3
Angel wasn't
here,
playing.
but yeah, that was a long time
BO1s,
ago.
right? Exactly, but Rebel Homeground, different format. That was the wild format, BO1s as well. When you're talking about best of threes, and if I even say just tier 1 matches, but best of threes, Angels never lost 3 in a row. Which is crazy. I'm waiting for you to find one.
No, I think you're correct.
Look, like that's insane. Even to have that as
Also,
a milestone.
5 out of 6 as well, which
Five out of
again, I don't think that
Gotta be
happens
a
very
record.
often.
That might even be a record for the squad overall, like a core 3 kind of thing. Very close to it anyways. So with that, there's that perspective. That's kind of like the first glance at it. But when you look at the teams they're against, the situations they're in, the NRG game and everything, it's fine. It's fine. I would find it almost impossible to see this loss happening. Now, hell, maybe if we had Koi going through at this point, we could say the rematch would favor Koi. They'd get the 2-0 again. Still don't understand how that happened week 1. But
I don't think they do after the season they have.
no. I remember Angel's tweet more than halfway through the season where he's like, it's like 1 week left or 2 weeks left, and it's still possible for a team to lose every game except against us, and us to win every game except against the bottom team. It was crazy. But I'll be honest with you, there isn't a team in here that you could put up against Navi that I would side with them. I think Navi are a league above.
So you don't believe
everything
in
else they
Benji
play.
anymore? Just in this first one?
I can see him in the first one. Hell, I could see a world where he's able to beat every other team there. But I think Navi, that's got to be one of those moments where you're going out on that stage knowing that 9 times out of 10, you're not winning that matchup, but you better believe this is the 1 in 10. I don't think anyone's stepping out there thinking, oh, they're unlucky they got to face us. You need that attitude, sure, but when you really think about it, Navi, you're number 1 in here.
Okay. Well, Giants BBL. Again, I feel like some of these games are incredibly tough to call because Giants were, at least at the beginning of the season, a team I had pretty much set to make it to Japan. Like I was really convinced that they were going to do well. Made it into the playoffs, and I don't know. Never really hit the level I kind of wanted them to.
Yeah, I mean, they came very close. There's a reality where when we started out the season, I remember being 2 games in and saying, and we were having the conversations behind the stage, we're having them on camera as well about sort of what this meant for the Giants roster. And they had lost to Fnatic and Navi. They started out 2-0 or 0-2 rather, but
Yeah.
it was a fair beginning for them, and it looked like then the easy games are in front of them. But they made it all the way. They managed to get
This
their
was the
spot.
one.
Which one was that?
Losing 2-0
The
to
Heretics.
Heretics when I think that was when Weber first stepped in. I was like, how in the shit did you lose this?
The crazy thing is, the week before, and again, this is where I'm saying it's hard to sort of pin where Liquid are at on any level on any given day. I don't know who's showing up on that stage, but the reality is they almost beat Liquid. They were so close to beating Liquid. And then they come out the next week and you're like, wow, after that performance, after this season where, they've beaten the easy teams, they beat Foot, who were already establishing themselves as a solid squad, almost took down Liquid, who then we weren't sure if they would even shoot for #1. And yeah, the loss to Heretics really just spun us.
That was the Yoru game.
Recovered on.
That was where Mixo on the day decided to play Yoru and won.
Yeah, if you have a guy coming off that stage going, I just kind of thought, see if Yoru works, and it does, it's a worrying sign. At the same time, I have a lot of sympathy for teams who come up against some absolute lunatics like that, because when somebody just pulls out an agent comp or a way of playing that you just haven't practiced against, like how many Yoru scrims do you reckon they had on Pearl? Like versus that.
It's like Ethan. I remember Ethan playing it once, but it's not like a common thing. Definitely not something you would see all the time.
Yeah, you're not going to be well versed on it. And there's a reality where, someone locks Yoru, you're already restarting the server. You're like, don't worry, bro, I got you. Yeah, mislock. Don't worry, happens all the time. So yeah, it's a tough one because Giants have had a good season. I think they've been making. I think looking at these teams, they will have made out of the two the best use of the downtime, because I'm sort of thinking like Navi have to be the ones that take that cake anytime you give Angel and Doom to sit back.
They didn't. The thing is though, they had a lot less time. You have to bear that in mind because they still played Japan, where they still had to travel, whereas Giants literally just had the time to prac. So it's definitely an interesting one.
They've just been in the lab. So yeah, I
Pipson ain't gonna have wasted that time.
No. I don't think he was feeling pretty chill after some of their games. So I would understand. He's drilling them like a drill sergeant, man. Yeah, I would say Giants take that and push up to a Navi Giants game that would just be so insanely hyped for an upper final.
Well, let's go lower first. Lower round 1. First team. Well, actually, I say first team home. Third team home, because there's no low bracket here. It doesn't sound quite as interesting, but yeah, Heretics BBL again. I don't know where to put this one, because again, you're going off like, does Benji like fit in as quickly as you kind of hope it? If it's even him, we don't know. It might still be Weber. It's not announced yet when we're recording the video. I think I'm gonna release this in like a week, so maybe it will be for you guys, but. I feel like that does change things, but at the same time, I never know what BBL I'm going to get. I never know. Like, them versus Foot, when the pressure was on, they got smashed. Like, again, Foot have been very good, but to this degree, I didn't think they'd get bullied like that. And I think for Foot, that game didn't even matter. They'd already qualified.
Yeah, this is where I start to think, like, you go to elimination, I already think they're in a little bit of trouble. Now, up against someone like KC, sure, I think that's a matchup that they stand a chance in. But when it comes to that lower round, up against a high-caliber squad, who I'm imagining at this stage especially, we're talking that this would already be 2 games in, multiple days into the event as well. I think this is where we start to see if there is to be a lot of value from that roster swap from Heretics. This is where it comes in. It's where it matters the most. And I think BBL crumble under that pressure, and we see Team Heretics move on.
Okay. Heretics moving on. Upper bracket, and unless you're going to do like the lower bracket comeback from one of these teams, I'm only really expecting... I'm I'm only really expecting one of these to take it in the upper, but I guess it doesn't even matter because we've got the 2 spots. So that grand final, it's not meaningless. But it is a little bit.
It is a tiny. Yeah, I don't know if there's even going to be implications from that grand final of seeding. And with the way international seeding works, I don't think you can be
seeding is
guaranteed
less
that it's
for
better.
champs, right? Like, because obviously when it's Masters, it's huge because you skip a stage.
Yeah.
But like, I'm pretty sure for champs, because it's just groups, right? It's going to be 16 teams, so I don't think there's a reason for there to be. Like, obviously you might get a better group. Like,
But
if
you
you're
might get a better group by losing as well. So
that is
there's
also
no way to
true.
tell,
A better
you know?
is very much a tough way to look at things. So, well, either way, we don't need to get into the semantics. Who have you got winning the match?
I look again, Navi. I think if Giants are going to win it, they win it the second time around. I think that first matchup is Navi locked in.
So does that mean we're just going like this?
You know what? At the risk of getting an earful from Angel, I would change that grand final to Giants winning it. And I think because Navi would already be locked.
Why?
Navi would feel more chill, and it's a rematch. And the hardest thing to do is beat a team the second time. Giants maybe surprise us, and you'll get hella stonks in the Pickems if they do.
So basically, your reasoning is that you just think that Angel's going to troll the final. That's what it sounds like you just said.
You tell me who else is going to troll the final, right? Because I'm just saying of all the teams in all the regions in the world, this guy being in a grand final where the implication is, let's say, unknown, but probably it's not a very high stakes matchup. Yeah. That's somewhere that I expect him to pull a Mixwell and go, you know what, I'm just feeling the Yoru today, guys. It's like, but you were playing our smoker. Yeah, you don't need smokes. I'll be behind him. Don't worry. You'd just be smoking me off. Like, something wild coming out of him wouldn't surprise me at all. So I'd say maybe Giants eke it out.
There you have it. You've got the Mitchman prediction. I'm going to say that if you were planning on gambling any money on this, don't. Don't like it. He has a bad history when it comes to Pickems. What I will say though is, because I feel like these are a little bit bland in the sense that I don't think these Pickems are crazy even remotely. I want you to give me a player to watch. Like who is someone that you want to say like, okay, it can be maybe someone a little bit more niche, or it could just be like Saigetsu if you want to stick down that route. But who's a player that maybe not to watch, who could change your Pickem? Like if they perform to the best of their ability, who would that be?
They perform to the best of their ability to change the Pickems. We got to look at some teams that are losing. I've refreshed my Pickem page, so I'm going to squint at yours real quick. You know what? I will actually say if Kushner comes through with some of the best plays we've seen, and the guy's been heating up, right? I don't know. I don't even know if I want to say him. I'm thinking back on that team and just the amount of clutches from Brave that are in my mind. Let's go with Kushner. I'll say I'll play a plan. I'll say Kushner's my player to watch.
Okay, so if he might be someone who could upset the entirety of your Pickems. There you go. You've got your player to watch.
I think so.
You've got your. I normally say 100% Pickem. I'm gonna say like maybe 80%. We'll see how it goes.
That's better than you've ever given me. So I feel like I've leveled it up here.
I think that would put you still
strategy.
in like the bottom 20%, because I feel like people are gonna smash these ones. But we'll see. We'll see. Either way. That is it for this video, of course. Well, you could sort of compare and contrast how everybody's Pickems go towards the end. Maybe I'll do a video coming back and seeing who did the best at the very end. But either way, thank you very much for watching. Make sure you subscribe, and I'll see you next time.